could have understood, given what the regime was in Afghanistan, and it is certainly true that this regime favored terrorism, contrarily to the Iraqi regime, absolutely did not. And there were many lies, even unfortunately now from your government about that. But everybody now that there was no secret mass destruction weapons. There was no support to terrorism from Iraqi government. That was not the case, I think, from the regime in Afghanistan. One can have understood that we, just punctually, just at a time, helped, for example, the Pashtun of Commander Massoud to overthrow the regime in Kabul, which was rather easy because Kabul is a big city. Just if it is surrounded, it's okay. But once it's done, you have to withdraw as fast as possible. And everybody should know that it is absolutely impossible to win a long-term war in Afghanistan. One should know that from even from reading Sherlock Holmes.
Of course.
Because Conan Doyle, when he wrote Sherlock Holmes, that the adventures of Sherlock Holmes are supposed, they are told by his friend, the famous Dr. Watson. And Dr. Watson was a military doctor, wanted in Afghanistan. 150 years ago, because the whole British army at the time where Britain ruled India, ruled Nepal, Burma, nowadays Pakistan, and so on, at the time of this British Indian Empire. The whole British army failed in conquering Afghanistan. And the whole Soviet army also, more recently, the whole Soviet army also failed to conquer Afghanistan. Right. So I think we will also fail, and the result of all that will be a new and worse Taliban regime.
I think you're right. I've got 5 minutes left. I'd like to get your thoughts on, Sarkozy.
On Sarkozy. Yes. Well, very quickly, Sarkozy won, contrary to Chirac, by letting people believe that he will take our views in account. He was even tougher sometimes in his speech than was Jean-Marie Le Pen, who was very responsible and who didn't use words to insult, not to curse immigrants and things and people like that. And so many people believed that, at last, there is somebody from the Gaullist party taking their views and who understood the problem. So many even of our supporters voted for him because they thought, rightfully, by the way, that he had more chances than Le Pen to get the job, to be elected as president. But as we had foreseen, as soon as he was elected, he took prominent former socialists in his government, and he's making a kind of a political dance, of a political tango. One step forward to solve, I don't know, what problem of the French society, and there are protests from the left-wing trade unions, and he shifts as soon to another problem.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And people do not realize at first that the first problem was not solved at all. But now they are gradually they understand that they have been he made a fool of them. The problem is, will these people come back to us, or will they just stay at home and being completely disgusted with politics, which I can understand personally.
Maybe that's
there are,
point,
yes, abstention at the elections is unfortunately progressing in France.
As an American, I have a great fear, and as a person of European descent, that we're going to embark on a war even more catastrophic to America.
With Iran.
With Iran.
Yes. With Iran, it will be absolutely catastrophic. Well, Israel is wants that the United States attack Iran, and it is as far as any hostility with Iran will begin. Iran will, just send a few batteries of missiles, even on trucks, and if they shot one missile on an oil tanker, that will be the end of the oil trade in the Hormuz Straits, and that will have a tremendous effect. That will be the barrel of oil will be 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than it is now.
And I think a wave of terrorism.
There we will have a real economical crisis.
And I think a wave of terrorism also would increase. I don't think the Iranians
obviously, because until now the Shiite do not take part in terrorist, do not involve in terrorist actions.
Right, and that would change the whole focus, not only in Iran but throughout the Middle East, and I think exponentially increase our.
For example, in Lebanon, where the Shiite militia is very strong.
And so as an American, I think this would be a catastrophic thing, and I'm really worried about the fact that both Gordon Brown and Sarkozy, of course, of France, if they basically push Bush toward a war with Iran,